Okay. So I didn't realize that I had reached my 15 minutes, and Screencast-O-Matic only lets you record in 15-minute increments. So I left off with guided reading as one of the strategies and interventions rooted in the balanced interactive approach. Fluency instruction is also something I feel rooted with the balanced interactive approach. With fluency instruction, I feel like because fluency requires top-down and bottom-up skills, the balanced interactive model is applied. Also, closed passages are strategies that I feel are rooted with the balanced interactive approach. Using closed strategies in literacy instruction requires students to use context clues, visual clues, or other processes by which to understand what information is missing. I love using closed passages. I feel like they're very powerful in and that they address and hone in on several of the processes from the balanced interactive approach. So I use that strategy in my classroom. Constructed writing is something that I have done several years in a row, especially through Writer's Workshop. I didn't necessarily think about it in terms of applying this balanced interactive approach, but the more I thought about it, the more I decided I would put it into my presentation. And I feel like in constructed writing, students and teachers work together to construct a writing piece. Different processes are used as the piece is drafted. This strategy is an example of parallel instruction. It's a neat time of writing, and I feel like it's definitely balanced, and there's definitely some interaction. A picture walk. I discussed picture walk a little bit earlier in my presentation, but it's a great pre-reading activity where students focus on their orthographic information processes. And they also, the picture walk allows them to make inferences, which making inferences is a powerful reading strategy. Meaningful technology for application of this interactive approach. I kind of just highlighted 5 that I've used in my classroom and I've used as a resource as a teacher. I feel like I could have listed so many more. But number 1 is Lyrics to Learn, and that's a new one that I've started using in my classroom as I looked at in my other master's class, the power of fluency and how effective fluency practice can be when learning to or in teaching students to comprehend. But Lyrics to Learn is a neat site. It's a free site that you can add your students to the Lyrics to Learn. They can practice with different songs from all content. Reading Rockets is a valuable resource for me as a teacher. I visit Reading Rockets probably 10 times minimum throughout my week for lesson ideas, activity ideas, and it's got some great activities for literacy instruction where you can apply the balanced interactive approach. Mind Play is a phonics practice. It's used for older readers. It's used in the middle school that I teach in. Great phonics practice. Very, very effective. Flocabulary is probably my favorite in this list of technology sites. Flocabulary is a fantastic site. It's got closed passages. It's got songs for fluency practice, songs for probably, I don't know, from K through 12, maybe 100 different content topics. It's not a free site, but you can sign up for a free trial. You just have to change your email address every 30 days. So I end up going through the gambit of email addresses of students in my classroom. But I'm a huge, huge proponent of Flocabulary, and it's the the songs play on screen, the words are at the bottom. And as students, because I have a tendency to play the same ones, especially if we're talking about the same topic or the same theme. We'll play the same video several times throughout the week, and the students will sing the songs, and they don't realize that they're practicing their fluency as they sing these songs. So the vocabulary is fabulous. Mayan is a really neat site with, probably 1,000 different meaningful literature resources. It almost reminds me of Reading A to Z. It's got leveled books. There's read aloud options on all of the books. Students can search for books based on their lexile, based on their interest. It's got graphic novels. It's got picture books. It's got chapter books. So Mayan's a fantastic resource as well. All right, what have I learned from research of theoretical approaches, and how will I use this new knowledge to enhance the learning experiences of my students? Through research conducted of top to bottom, bottom up, and interactive literacy approaches, I've gained valuable information about constructive classroom practices and methods that are most effective for students in my classroom. I've also found this research quite interesting because many of the theories and models studied provide justification for much of my classroom instruction. So I think I've noted it several times in my module responses throughout this course that several of the practices that I've employed in my classroom for years and years, I didn't necessarily realize they had theoretical justifications. So I have found that very interesting in this course to make that realization. I will use this new knowledge constructively, and I plan to be very deliberate as I employ my interactive instruction. Learning about the processes that simultaneously parallel when students are learning to read has been fascinating. My goal is to acknowledge the theories and balanced approach through my instruction and teach strategies of literacy to my 6th grade students. So I really have enjoyed looking at the top to bottom and bottom up skills and the theories that are applied in both of those approaches. And it's been meaningful to figure out which approach best works for my students. There's my works cited. That's my presentation. I hope you enjoy it. I hope I didn't talk too much, and have a good night.